Oh,
I'm in here. I've been watching To Catch a Smuggler.
what's that?
Oh, it's very good. It's this where you go to the airport and the people get the people getting off a plane who always have like drugs wedged in their back braces.
I love it. That'd be a good job for you.
I don't
Okay.
I don't know if I'd be good at detecting liars.
Okay.
I might be good at like smuggling the actual drugs.
Or smuggling the drugs and talking your way out of it.
Yes, like if they were like, we need to look at you, I'd be like, are you crazy? What are you doing? I cannot do this. I have to go.
Mm-mm.
The people look guilty because they act like they're not nervous. So they just sit.
Mm-hmm. Did you watch that new one on Netflix? I haven't watched it yet, called Carrie with Jason
No.
Bateman. I guess it's supposed to be really good.
Is it a movie?
It's a movie. I heard it's
I
very
do
good.
love some Jason Bateman. He's from before your time.
No, I love some Jason Bateman, and my sister said the same thing. So my sister's 47, and I was talking to her this weekend, and she's like, "I love me some Jason Bateman," and I'm like,
I don't know why.
Paul Rudd. Do you know who Paul Rudd is?
No.
He's
Well, the
from.
name sounds familiar.
I love him too.
Paul
So I just got out of the hot tub with my children and my husband, which is why I'm a little damp. So this will sound bizarre to you, but my kids eat snow in the hot tub. So they all bring out big bowls and they fill their buckets up with or snow, and then they eat it, and then they fight with it, and then everyone gets mad.
That sounds normal. It's when we went skiing last year with the place we stayed or 2 years ago had a hot tub, and it's very tempting to take the snow and to dump it on other people in the hot tub. I mean that.
Very.
How could you not do that?
Yes.
Really.
When we were in Chicago, and I told you the story. We were in Chicago. We went to the hotel pool, and there was a couple like canoodling, like in the corner of the hot tub, and they stood out because she was wearing they were older than me, but she was wearing a bra and underwear. It was clearly a bra and underwear, and we learned that they did not speak English. They were European, but Cooper was like, whoosh, splashed them right in the faces, and I'm like, oh, so sorry. Like, it's so awkward. A 14-year-old boy splashing someone in the face. I'm like, autism. Like,
so that, and I don't know what we're talking about tonight, but we went to the beach today, Dad and I, and Amos, and I don't who else, and Amos. Basically, Amos went to the beach today, and Amos, the beach is stressful.
yep.
And I have just figured this out today. I'm like, how is the beach just too big that he feels like, I wrote about it. I was like, is he like an ant in traffic? Like, what about the beach? It's too much. Like, he smashes people's castles.
Yes.
And so I drug him over to apologize to these people. And I'm mad. Like, do you make him apologize? Do you not? And then he got very upset and sad, which made me feel bad because he genuinely felt sorry. And then I was like,
were they kids or teens or adults?
They were like tiny children, but the parents were kind of, giving me the frowny frown, because, I mean, here's this 11-year-old boy who comes by and stomps on like 4 small castles. Mm-hmm. And the parents, and I mean, I don't know. I just was like, just wanted to sit there and cry. I mean, I was like, I just don't even know what to do. And I said to the little boy, I'm sorry that he did that. Would you like me to help you do your castles? And I said, he has autism. And he said, no, but can you just make sure that he doesn't do it again?
Oh, that's so sad.
And I was like, well, then we're going to have to leave.
Yeah.
Um,
so we don't do the beach anymore, really, because
wait, you're frozen.
I am?
Yeah.
Can you hear me talking?
Can you see me?
You're fine. I see that person's, I see Blair. Is that Thomas?
Blair and Thomas.
guys.
Hello.
Can they see me?
Hi. How are you? You're frozen. But you said had the best lava cake of my entire life.
You had a lava cake.
I don't feel frozen. Am I frozen to anyone but you?
It's probably just you, Mom.
It's just me. Hold on. I'm going to mess with my internet. Hold on.
Oh, well, I was just saying for anyone that's watching, we don't do the beach much anymore because Cooper struggles with the hot temperatures. But when we use, can you hear me? You're muted. Um, do your voice enhancement one. But when we used to do the
Okay, good.
beach,
Now
I
I'm
would
good.
say when we used to do the beach, our problem, and it got to be a really big problem, is Cooper loves sand. So it like he gets irritated and then he sifts it through his hands and then he'll throw it. And there's nothing malicious about it. He's not being mean, but you can't throw sand. It's these rules that like he doesn't understand. You cannot throw sand. So it's a big problem.
So Amos does understand that he can't do
Oh,
it. Like he gets it, but he can't keep himself from doing it.
got it. Yeah.
You know, like he was like, I'm sorry. Like he felt sorry. You could tell. And like he
Mm-hmm.
wants to have friends. Like I know now, like he wants to play with people and do things. But it's like if he has sand or they have a castle, he cannot make himself not. And is that anxiety? What is that? Like I was thinking, okay, I'm going to send the doctor a message and be like, this is the problem we need to really tackle.
One of Cooper's big challenges still is he
Oh,
smashes Legos.
he what?
Legos. So like Harbor's a Lego builder and like he will and I he knows he's not that's one thing he knows he's not supposed to do. He doesn't feel sorry.
Right.
But like he will like smash his Legos and like Harbor like it's like crushing to him.
Right.
And then so this is one thing that we learned in ABA therapy that I don't know if I necessarily what I think about it, but it makes sense. They were like, if you can't change or stop the behavior, help the other child. Meaning, so our goal now is to teach Harbor to put his Legos somewhere safe or put them somewhere where Cooper can't get them. Or like, there's other examples. Back when Cooper used to be aggressive, our goal wasn't necessarily to stop Cooper from being aggressive. It was to keep the other children safe.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
it was like kind of an interesting way of thinking. And I remember doing this safety plan with Sawyer and it was heartbreaking. Like I was like teaching my 6-year-old to like be the adult in the situation.
Yeah. And anyway, I just was like, oh, I just, you just be nice to just go to the beach.
Oh yeah. So
Ever.
I was going to bring up autism tonight. We had a pretty big meltdown tonight. Now a big meltdown for Cooper is maybe 20 minutes, which I think is pretty short in the
Right.
world. So I want to say
Right.
that. But it's unbelievably loud, guttural, animalistic screaming.
Mm-hmm.
And it's I think you've heard it before in my circle, like you've heard it, but it's so jarring. And Cooper goes for furniture, so like he's sitting here screaming and he's knocking over the end table or things like that. But Jamie and I were sitting there with him and there's no getting him out of it till it's done. And we had this moment where we looked at each other and we said, this is why he would never be safe at a group home. I don't know if anyone who didn't love him could do it. I don't they could do it. I don't know. And it's such a hard topic, but it's like getting more real because he's 14 now.
Right.
And so like so irrational and there's no consoling him. Like I'm like everything you could think. Like let's go take a bath. Do you want to lay with mommy in bed and watch TV? Do you everything? Like can I buy you a pony? I'm telling you
Right.
anything.
Right.
And that there's no getting him out of it. But
Right.
he was so out of control. And Jamie and I were like, no one could ever do this if they didn't love him. And that's a hard statement to say, but
Yeah.
it feels true.
Yeah. Well, my dad and I were just out here talking. We had mom and dad and Thomas, my husband, and I got Thai food takeout. And then
The Thai food that I've
the,
had.
yes, that's right, Sushi Sam.
Mhm.
And then my two big boys, and then Blair has a friend here. The four of them went to dinner up the way. And that's something that we you know, I love to go out to dinner. Like, I think it's really fun. And it's just not, it's just not, I'm not doing that here. Like, and we have, Amos has been out a couple times. We went out to lunch about a month ago and he was really good. Like, we're practicing and doing it. But anyway, I'm not doing it here. And I like to do it. But my dad said, can you leave him alone at home? And I said, no. And he said, do you think you'll ever be able to? And I said, I do. I really do feel like we are going to get to that point. Now, here, for us to go to Miami, that would be a very long way away. But in Edenton, yes, I think I could get a camera and Thomas and I could go 2 blocks, you know, whatever. We were having these kind of discussions. And my dad said, you know, I think he's going to be big. He's tall. I don't know if he's really tall or if he just is tall because he's grown a lot, but he's solid too. He used to be super thin and now he's really getting ready to have a big growth something. You know, he's 11 and a half.
Yep.
So anyway,
Yeah.
it's true as they get bigger, you can't pick him up. I can't pick him up, you know?
So the issue with, I actually typed this text to you the other day and I erased it because I don't know why, but the not being able to leave him home alone, it's getting to be harder every year. Now, it's harder because he's 14. He should be able to stay home. He should be able to watch Sawyer and Winnie for 20 minutes. He should. And so we're in this Christmas break and we have hockey every day and we have all different things. And so like yesterday we had a thing where Winnie had something and Sawyer had something and Jamie's like, I'm going to have to pick Sawyer up. I'll have to bring Cooper. It'll take me 15 minutes to get Cooper out the door for
Right.
a 5 trip. Like, it's so much work. And I just like, it's like, what are we going to do? Like, are we going to be like arguing with him when he's 30 to put his shoes on, to get the car, to run? I don't know.
Well, do you feel like is it the same kind of thing like that you could, because Cooper's and Amos are similar. They're not elopers. Like they're not going to run out of the house and go
Nope.
somewhere. And they're not going to get in water.
Nope.
On purpose. So I wonder if you're kind of like me, if you could have a camera like the Ring doorbell camera set up. So if you were going to go somewhere for 5 minutes, you know? So we've been practicing. Like tonight, my dad was here, but I said, Mommy is going to go pick up dinner. Do you want to go? And he said, no. And I said, okay. And he said, well, how many minutes? And I said, 10 minutes. And so he thought he was by himself. And I thought, you know, that's actually probably smart. It's just to kind of
Really
have
smart.
some practice. Because the danger with Amos, in my mind, is if there were, and I know it's the same with Cooper, if there were a fire,
Yep.
if somebody came to the door.
Coming to the door would be a big problem.
We are nowhere near even discussing what to do about things like that. Where Carrie could say to Jack, like, hey, you're not going to answer the door. You know, Amos and Cooper would be, I mean.
Well, and more than all of that, and I think we've talked about this, Amos is a little bit more precocious than Cooper. Like, because you said, didn't Amos like try to make toast once, or like he tried, you know, like.
Yes.
So we don't have
fixed himself, he got hungry, got peanut butter and a knife and made himself some peanut butter bread.
Yep. So we don't have that, but I think in order for us to even, he has to have a way to contact us. And the nonverbal part is hard. So if we could tell him, if you call mom, we know it's something important. Like if we could get that to sink in, like if just the phone rang. Like, so I think we'll get to the point where we'll have to like practice things. Like we'll have to like mock tests of like, what would you do? Can you call mom?
And I guess my thought would be, well, as long as I'm close enough that if I had the Ring camera going, if you had the camera on him.
Yep.
And you were gone the whole time, almost like FaceTime.
Yep.
And I heard the alarm going off. If I knew there was something and I could get there or had, you know what I mean? Yep. Like not far enough that I felt, I don't think it will ever, for kids like ours, I don't think it's ever going to feel 100% safe. But I think there's also a point where one, it's like parenthood. You put you haven't had drivers yet, but you have your person go drive a car and you're thinking, "Ooh, I hope this turns out well."
Right.
But I think there's also just, it's a life risks to some degree, I don't know. That might be wrong, but
You're right.
you're
You're right.
you're at a hard point because you have these littles where my three littles are big now, and I have the younger person with autism and you have the older person.
Mm-hmm.
And you're at such a busy stage. It's that. Give me that. The dog's got the yogurt container. um I'm not at the busy point where you are. I mean, my kids want to go to dinner and do stuff like that, but I'm not doing what you're doing. So I'm sure it really is. I remember it. I remember feeling like that even when Amos was little and we'd get a babysitter so we could go to soccer practice or whatever. And it was constant.
Oh, it's every day. Like, if
And
we
your
want to do
kids do all that hockey. Like, we don't have that much going on where we live. So we didn't have as much.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. How was your Christmas? Can you tell me about that?
It was, hold on, let me get this yogurt from the dog. Get out the yogurt container. It was good. Christmas was good. I de-Christmased the day after Christmas. There ain't a lick of Christmas left at my house.
So we putting things away is a big job here. Like, we have to like take stuff out of a closet to like put it in. You did all that?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was committed. Our tree was so crispy that when you took the ornaments off, the branches just broke.
Oh yeah, because you have a real tree.
Mm-hmm. Well, it didn't seem too real at the end. But I enjoy decorating for Christmas. I like Christmas, but I don't do well with a lot of stuff everywhere.
Yep.
Makes me kind of anxious. And so I find it is not depressing to me to put the Christmas stuff away. In this house, we have a basement like downstairs. And so we have this random closet that I turned into the Christmas closet. So it's where all the Christmas lives. And that is really nice because before we had to take it up to an attic and so it's kind of thing where I can do it myself with very little assistance from my family, which is good because I don't like to have to sit and boss people.
I don't get sad taking Christmas stuff down either, but I do miss the lights. So what I love about, I have 3 trees and they just like illuminate my living room. I love that.
Yes, that is nice.
I do.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
But I also feel like this is the weird thing about living where there's snow. So I have like a couple types of decor. So I have like my decor, which is like sunshiny and bright. And then I have like Christmas and maybe a little Halloween, but normally it's just Christmas for me. So it's weird putting back up my like sunshiny, bright yellow summer stuff when it's really weird to me. Maybe that's just a Midwest thing, but it's like, feels weird.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense. I do agree with you that sitting at night with the Christmas tree on,
there's nothing
when everyone is asleep is,
I know,
delightful. I did leave my one wreath I had with lights on it out front of my house, and my joy tree is up. I have a tree that like looks like Christmas lights have vomited on it. I left that up.
What's the joy tree?
So the joy tree is kind of this thing in Edenton that this one friend had, and then my friend Mary Scott was like, we should all have joy trees. So there's, I don't know, I bet there's 30 in Edenton where people just have a tree in their yard and they just throw lights all over it.
Oh, I like that.
So it's not very organized. They just look fun and kind of crazy. But when you drive around town, you can see all the joy trees.
When we were in our old neighborhood, we had a bunch of fun moms, like all of us were the same age. And our first winter there, they pranked us and they filled our yard with like old Christmas trees when Christmas was over, and they decorated them with like beer cans and like ridiculous stuff. It was so funny. My husband was so pissed. He's like, what do I do with all these damn Christmas trees?
That is such a good idea.
Oh, it was a great idea. It was a fantastic idea.
I mean, my children, my 19-year-old has done in Amos. They needle him, which they think he likes, and he likes it for a period of time, and then they go over the threshold.
Like they're like picking on him like siblings.
Yes, they're being regular and they're having fun and they're playing, but then like little Thomas wants to play with him. Well, then he sits on him too long.
Jamie sits on Cooper. That's funny.
So now he's in there and he's upset, kicking on my bed.
Yeah. So tell me how your parents handle all of you coming. That's not a giant house. Don't they get overwhelmed?
So
I mean, you have a dog, and autism, and all these kids, and a friend. You're nuts.
I feel nuts. Oh my God. And my dad is not exactly low maintenance.
Love your dad. What does he say? Like, okay, I actually have been wondering this like numerous times. Like when you tell me you're going there, does everyone just like drop their stuff and like open the fridge and start eating? Like, is it very like, because I've lost that at my parents' house. I don't just like go in and
yes, that's what they do. So my boys, the two big boys share a bedroom. Blair has a bedroom, and then Thomas and I have a bedroom, and Amos sleeps in a rollaway bed in our room. And Amos hops between our television and then there's a television in the boys' room.
Okay.
So he kind of goes back and forth. And sometimes he wants to watch the TV in the living room, but he doesn't demand that too often. I'm hoping he's not going to break the freaking TV. You know, we broke the TV last year. And it's a lot. We try to. Okay, I don't have any ice cream cake. There's ice cream cake in the boys' room. I'll get it in just a minute. See, now they've told him that they have ice cream cake in there and they've locked the door.
Oh my God, siblings are the worst.
And they're teenagers. Is Amos the husband? Not my husband. No, he's the 11-year-old with autism. So we try to get out of the house.
Yeah.
So the husband and the two big boys go play pickleball for like 2 hours every morning.
Okay.
So they get gone. Amos and Cooper kind of, oh, look, there's Carrie. And Amos is pretty happy in the morning. He eats his pancakes, watches some TV. So he's kind of chill. And then, like, I took him to the beach today. So I try to get him out for a couple hours to do something. Then, or Thomas will take him up to the community center. Thomas just took him to the playground right now. He rode a scooter to the playground. But
nice.
They did not stay gone very long.
Yeah.
See, if I would have taken him, I would have stayed like an hour. He was there for like 25 minutes.
She's like, hi. I'm hiding from my family. Hi. Carrie's a hostage in New Hampshire.
Carrie's not used to all these people that she gave birth to.
No, they don't live here, but then they come back.
And how is it going?
It's great.
Spill the tea.
They're everywhere. They're everywhere.
I want to pop up.
Every time I look around, I'm like, I forgot you were here.
Another one.
Everywhere. Right now they're playing Uno in the kitchen. Charlie is playing the guitar in the front porch. They're everywhere. It's good. It's good, but I miss my quiet. There's no quiet time. I forget how much management they need. And we're planning a skiing trip. So that's like requiring a lot of.
But also
packing.
There's no, I don't know I know it changes when they get older, but I imagine the same. Like for me, there's no space free from them.
No.
And like, I'll find myself like hiding behind a door, like going on my phone. And that's weird. Or sitting on
like hide in other people's beds. Like I was just in my daughter's bedroom.
No.
Yeah. And then they're like, what are you doing in here? I'm like, I'm clearly trying to get away from you people.
I sat down to eat, one's calling me, and they drive, they go places, they're very self-sufficient. But it's this constant need to like, what's the plan? What's the plan? What time's dinner? And I'll text the group chat and they say, oh, we don't read that. We'd rather just call you.
Oh, yeah, I don't answer is what you need to say.
One needs money, one needs a ski coat. And then Jack's he's downstairs now, but he's definitely running hot since he got here. Like he's hovering at a 15 or 16, where I prefer everybody at 7.
15 out
Is
of
it
what?
Of going?
Out of 10. 16 out of 10. There's some very specific things. One is we decided at the last minute his phone wasn't working very well, so for Christmas we got him a new phone.
Oh, nice.
But it wasn't here, so we gave him like a phone case, like, ooh, and said tomorrow. Joe did that, said this. Tomorrow we're gonna go and get your phone from the Verizon store, or whatever. Joe's in the middle of a huge remodel at one of his practices here, and so he's been working like 12 hours a day. And the day they were supposed to go get the phone, something went really wrong with the remodel. So Joe never wound up being able to bring him. And it's like all that kind of stuff snowballs.
Yeah.
And it's like toothpaste out of cracks, like it manifests in, he'll start swearing more, or he's like this all the time. Like I do forget about his movements.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then I'm noticing, Adrian, I'm curious if you have this. We have 2 boys who like to be alpha. My oldest and Charlie are always sort of battling for that alpha role of who's kind of the leader of the family, and it's very fascinating, but can be very, very tiresome.
That's interesting.
No, we don't. It's more probably my husband and my oldest.
Oh, I mean, a husband gets involved also. There's a lot of alpha dogs. And then my poor daughter had surgery the day after Christmas.
Oh, yeah. How'd it go?
It's tough. So, dentists are notorious for being like, she'll be fine. It's not a big deal. Okay, so we had to do more gum grafting than we thought. They put 2 titanium posts in the bone of her jaw.
Oh.
And there's no teeth. There's nothing there. So she has a lot of headaches. I mean, it's very painful. So I'm trying to kind of give her like a free pass to just lay on the couch, like do whatever you want, Right. And then my youngest is notorious for this. And let me just preface it. I think all of my kids are absolutely delightful. But when you have them all back in, you're like, oh, I remember what this was all like. My youngest, everything is an emergency. But I don't have the right gloves. But you have to bring me here. And I'm constantly saying, like, your urgency is not my emergency, buddy. So back up.
But when I think you have said that as each child has left, is he more relaxed when there's less kids around?
So interesting you say that. I find him more relaxed, yet he said the other day, I love everybody being home. I love this community. And I'm like, really? Because you were yelling at us because he wanted to watch the Beyonce halftime show. That's Christmas Day. And nobody would stop talking. So then he got so pissed. It's big families. You guys are in it too. We're in it.
I was just watching television with my dad, and I didn't know that the TV could be turned up to 100.
Oh, I know that because of Cooper. Cooper turns up to 100 when he's mad at us.
I was like, the TV, it will implode. I told Dad it was going to implode if he put it over 80. He was like, really? I was like, yes.
Literally 100. You're not exaggerating.
No, 100.
Need hearing aids?
Hello. Yes.
So the hearing thing, okay, I'll just add. So my mother-in-law.
I'm reading about it. You get Alzheimer's if you can't hear. I told him.
Well, and here's what I've noticed now. So my mother-in-law has hearing aids, but she still can't hear. She just can't. And I've noticed that she gets she's a wonderful person. She gets frustrated because she can't hear, and then she'll almost withdraw, which is what I've read about it. So you get very isolated, and I've noticed that like when things are fast moving, she pulls back.
My mother-in-law did the same, and my mother-in-law loved a story and a joke, but when you're so disconnected,
yes,
you cry.
And she doesn't jokes anymore because she can't hear them. Yeah. The hearing thing's a problem. And then, but I'll say when we go to their house, it's so loud.
It's not a problem here. It's just on 100.
But can he hear you when you're talking to him?
If he mutes the television, yes, and you shout.
Oh yeah.
It'll really ump your.
So
In
Carrie,
fact,
I'm saying to Adrian, have you wondered this too? How can how many kids do you have? 6 people,
100.
a friend, and a golden retriever all go to these people's house and like stay calm. They must be like losing
So you
it.
have a friend with you too?
Yes, Blair brought a friend at the last second, which is good because, you know,
It is.
the 2 boys I mean, they all do stuff together. The 4 of them went to dinner tonight, but it was just, she's at a nice age for a friend. You know, she's 15 and it's good for them to go, you know, do whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
Well, it's a lot. And it's
It would be a lot for me. Like, I mean, I don't know.
basically they're Carrie
Yeah.
and I'm Carrie's children.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I've just come
Are
in.
you?
No, because what?
I was just gonna say it's the eating.
Well,
Food.
the food, we, you know, start writing down the meals like 8 weeks in advance. And the food is a big deal. So we try to plan the food ahead of time. Like, so tonight, but if I plan the food, no one ever likes my ideas. But if my mother suggests it, it's fine. So I usually, mom and I decide, and then my mother tells my dad, and then he's good with that.
Oh, there's a lot of maneuvering.
Oh, it's maneuver city over here.
Yeah.
And my mother is the queen of maneuvers.
The women usually are. My mother-in-law was the same way.
Does your mom though, Adrian, does she have the house stocked with food when you guys come?
Yes, she does that. They go to the store a lot. Now she will go to bed. She was in bed at 9. So,
Wow.
and she's not reading or anything. She's in there laying in the dark. But she, like when we were here last time, I think she went to bed at 5:30 one day.
Because you was mad at your dad, right?
Yeah, you said that he was like, "Where is she?"
Oh yeah. Well, and then he was like, I mean, what are we gonna do for dinner? I was like, he really worries about the food is a real thing. Like last night, I had 2 scoops of gingerbread ice cream, and I was like, well, that's my dinner. I mean, it was really good. And mom was like, oh, I just ate a Haagen-Dazs bar and had some yogurt. And he was like, well, what? Is no one eating dinner? I mean, what's happening? And I was like, we've all eaten. He was like, I mean, I'm just not used to this. Like
mayhem.
But then tonight I set the table and we sat outside. So he wants like the very traditional, we're going to all sit around the table. And I was like, you know what? The kids are going to go out. Like they want to go to this restaurant. I would like to go, but I know I can't take Amos. Amos was like circling the living room. And my husband came in and was like, Amos, you know, let's get in the pool. And Amos didn't want to do any, but he's just taking him to the playground, but they just got back. So my husband said to my dad, do you still have that plexiglass screen for the television? And my dad pulled it. It was behind the couch. And he was like, yeah, let's put that up. He seems a little keyed up. So we pulled out the plexiglass.
And does it like hang on the television? Like
it sits. It's like a giant piece of plexiglass that kind of fits around the top and then sits. So when you have someone that pings remotes, Kate and I have had a lot of broken televisions. It will save I mean, and they're like $200, but it's still cheaper than the television.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we had a broken television way back when, not Jack. It was from the Wii remote that they didn't have around. And I remember being like, that was when like big screens were so expensive.
Yeah.
So Cooper, when TVs used to be really expensive and we did not have any money and we bought like a 70-inch TV, our first house, it was
and they were like $1,800. I remember our first TV.
This was like the biggest thing. Cooper he was like 4 or 5. He threw a D-cell battery and it like went like this.
And it's
and Jamie sobbed. It's the only time I've ever seen him cry.
You've said
He
this
like
before.
he was like, I mean, like she couldn't formulate words.
You can't absorb it because it's instantaneous. I was in the room too when my oldest, little boy, and we were like this.
Well, then like the bottom half like didn't work and the top half was like lines, and we watched it for like a long time because he was like angry every time we turned it on.
Like Max Headroom TV.
Oh, it's so hard. Oh yeah.
The thing is, Cooper, and this stuff is exasperating. He's a sensory seeker in some ways. We have a ping pong table downstairs that we only use when kids come over or a holiday. Cooper has ripped the foam or whatever off of every ping pong paddle. And I mean, Jamie was like, oh my gosh, we can't even have a ping pong. And I mean, it's kind of funny, and like, Cooper's like, hee, runs away, but it's stuff like that just like wears a person down. It just breaks you.
It reminds me of when Jack was young, maybe 6 or 7. It was when we had Matchbox cars, like that age. He went and bit the wheels off of every Matchbox car until there was like a small heap of black, which was a terrible choking hazard. First of all, I know that, but like, what possessed him to destroy it that way? It makes no sense.
It makes no sense. We have a problem now. So we have 4 kids. And so Cooper has a speech device. We have an iPad. And then we probably have like 3 or 4 like old Kindle Fires. Like the kid Kindle ones are like $60. And they just kind of rotate around and stuff. But Cooper really hoards all of them. He's in charge of plugging them in. He deletes all the apps. So I'm telling you, it is like so exasperating. So like, it'll be like an exhausting day with Winnie and you want her to watch Netflix, watch Barbie, and you have to download Netflix again. Like, or he'll plug all the devices in, but then he'll unplug it from the wall. And I think it's because there's a blue light on it. I mean, no one knows. We'll never know. But Jamie was like, just like ripping him up tonight. And he's like, it's the one thing you love.
Yeah.
Why do you unplug it? They're all dead. Why?
Yeah. And nothing's like an easy fix. No. Tonight at dinner, I don't know, Joe was talking about a new car, maybe getting a new car. Hey, Roses, you don't have to come on. Will you just turn my light up a little bit? It's so dark in here. She's in her jammies, my daughter. Perfect. Thank you, sweetheart. How the type of car Joe drives, the dealership is offering him like, oh, get a new vehicle. We'll give you $500 off. And Joe's like, whatever. And Jack said this was so interesting. It was like such a glimmer of, progress. He said, how much would they have to offer you to make it good?
Oh,
he's obsessed with money. Not how much money he spends. That's not an issue at all.
That's good. I mean, that's like a developmental stage, obviously late for him. Yeah. Like my godson, who's 10, is like, was that expensive? He's asking things like that all the time. Like,
so you're 11 and he's very, not
right?
His own money. He's very curious. Like, what do you make?
Yes.
And
yes,
like,
what? Yes.
Yeah, very curious. Yes.
And it's so hard because we treat money as like, well, we don't talk about that, it's a little bit, we don't really say what we make. But then I'm like, but these are very valid questions. Like, we're going skiing and Jack's like, well, how much did that cost?
Yeah.
Oh, and first of all,
I think it's important they say if your parents don't teach you about money, no one ever does. I think it's just like makes us uncomfortable, but I tell them, I mean, I just think it's important that they know.
Yeah, I think you're right. My concern with Jack is whatever Jack knows, everybody knows. Oh. So like at Walgreens, he'll be like, my parents spent,
on the trip or whatever.
On the trip.
Yes.
Yeah. And
right.
there's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, we're going to have to work through kind of balancing out because it is really, and then I did a reel earlier that we go bowling every New Year's Eve. You'll appreciate this, I think, both of you, for almost 10 years. And we've all we're kind of done with it, but Jack keeps us tethered to that kind of stuff, these traditions that he can't let go. So and yesterday,
your big kids all come home for New Year's Eve?
Well, they stay through after they come home from college.
So they don't go out with friends New Year's Eve?
Not normally, but my oldest just said, "Oh, my buddies are getting together. Is that okay?" And I was like, "Yeah. I mean, he's gonna be 22. What am I gonna say? You know?"
Well, Thomas is like, I mean, what are we going to do New Year's Eve? Like, I've totally bamboozled him being here.
Oh, right, because he can't be with
Yeah.
friends.
I'm like, it'll be fun. He's like, oh, God.
Well,
Everyone's
Jack
excited.
said yesterday, I don't think I need to go bowling, and we were all like, "Hallelujah, we're done with bowling."
Well,
Yeah,
that's a deal.
it's a
What
very.
does he want to do
We
instead?
have decided as a family, brace yourselves, to ring in 2025 by going to Shake Shack.
Oh,
We
okay.
had one open up nearby. It's in this little village. It's like a Christmas market. So we won't like be there at midnight, but we're gonna go have Shake Shack.
Oh, fun. Will you, before we hop on supporters
Yeah.
pick, will you tell the story about Jack? This is like seeing our book cover. Carrie, I laughed out loud at that reel. Adrian, did you watch it?
Oh, yeah, I watched it.
I watched it 5 times. He's like, oh.
I had my whole family watch it.
Like, okay, so this is our book cover,
Yeah.
everybody, and Carrie shared it with her son Jack, who has autism, and it's really great.
That's exactly who he is. You know what I mean? Like you cannot script Jack. I videoed it. Obviously, reels are not live. So I knew I could like do a do-over if I needed to. But I thought, well, let them really see what his reaction is. Oh, you don't understand. There were 3 other Carriellos like in the hallway, like he said, "That's interesting."
And
Well, and like,
it was such a Jack way to
yeah.
say it, too. She was like, what do you think of the cover? And he was like, it's really interesting.
And then I was like,
Which
what?
basically means it sucks.
Yes. And then I was like, but then he pulled it together with a good answer. I thought he was going to say, like, it sucks. Like, that's what I thought. Okay?
Right.
And, like, I'm just wondering whose child that is, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Because truly, he doesn't live here. So that's truly the first time. Although he stalks me on social media, so I know he's seen it before. What did he say the other? Oh, he said today to Joe, like Jack got his brand new phone. He got a new ski jacket that he needed. Then we're at dinner at Jack's favorite restaurant tonight, where I was texting you, and he said, and Joe has been working like a maniac, and now he's playing Uno with the kids in there, and he says to Joe, "I'm sorry, I've just had a very stressful day." I was like, really? Were you at a job? Did you get up early?
Did one of you ask him
Yeah.
what was stressful?
The phone. The phone weighed on him to the point where the rest of my kids were like, "Mom, what can I take?" But in the end, it was fine. But we thought Joe had to take him because it's on. Joe has the account stuff. You know what I mean? Like
It's a big,
yeah. It turned out that it was like easier to do than we thought. But my oldest was like, "Mom,
You just have to have the password at Verizon.
yes." But my other kids kind of note that his anxiety is painful for Jack. Like but it manifests as so irritating sometimes because it's just like, and then he's texting Joe ceaselessly. Well, what time? I check the hours. This one's open till 5. This one's open till 6. This one. But then he'll tell you, I'm a very relaxed person.
very relaxed.
He's
The real you want it, it's on our Autism Out Loud page.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
It's
very endearing. Oh, today I sit here sometimes to do my reels, and he goes, "Do you want me to do one with you?" And I was like,
yes, I do.
"What would you say?" He said, "I don't know yet." But you guys will have to help me with ideas, because I do think, like he is amenable now.
I think you need to be, instead of filming your people, you need to be sitting beside them.
Oh, like have them here.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I could do that.
Because I think that's like fun. Like just have a conversation, the two of you.
That people watch.
Like about his program at school. I mean, like that's really interesting.
Yeah. Just get him going. Like,
well, and you would he ever like talk so much you'd have to be like, we're done? I feel like he seems so like tight-lipped. Like
he It was funny you say that because we were at the Verizon store and it was a lovely young woman helping us, and she seemed to understand the lay of the land. And he just starts going, "Are you from Bedford?" She's like, "No, I'm actually from such and such. I know somebody from such and such. He has brown hair." And then he went this, and then and then I'm like, "All right, we're gonna die." Stop it, Mom. I'm talking to her.
I would melt. I don't know. I know you're exhausted. I get it.
No. It is very, very endearing.
Verbal autism to me, like, so I have two friends where their kids swear.
You have three friends where your kids swear.
And Shannon Soklik. So Peyton and Landon. And like, I am telling you, they're the cutest little things. And like, all of a sudden they will drop an F-bomb. And I'm like, what was that? I'm like right there. And the moms are like, I'm so embarrassed. And I'm like, not me. He's with me.
He's with the right people.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. We have a lot of swearing, and we have a lot of like, I don't know how to, he's just so interesting to capture for other people, but he's all about being interviewed now. So.
But does he know not to swear like at a restaurant or at school and stuff?
He knows, but he'll do it under his breath. He does it to poke Joe. I swear he does.
Like what?
The other
What will
day,
he do?
what will Joe do?
No, what will Jack do? Like, just like.
He's famous for like, and then he lights on your face like, am I getting the reaction that I want out of that?
Oh.
Yeah.
Amos sort of does that, like a amateur version of that. He'll be like, and fucker, frucker, fricky, frucky, ducky, ducky, tuck, tuck, tuck,
Harbor,
tuck.
Harbor 6. He's walking every line but the F-U-C-K, but he is dang close.
Mm-hmm.
He knows.
It's age appropriate. But I was saying earlier, two things I just wanted to, I know we have to hop off, but living with Jack, it makes my life so much easier. I have not touched the dishwasher. I have not touched a pile of laundry. He stocks all the toilet paper in all the bathrooms. He stocks all the paper goods all the time. Like he just does, he changes all the garbages constantly. But I was thinking of when you were saying that Sawyer lays on Cooper all the time. Mm-hmm. And you were like, well, what would Jack do? I've been thinking about that every day. If somebody laid on Jack, he would scream at the top of his lungs. I can't even imagine. When you say Adrian, like sit next to him, he would be a foot away from me. He did hug me today. Because my temperature was rising, metaphorically speaking, after an hour in the Verizon, and we're transferring data, and I got to get here, and I got to get there, and he's this, and then he's going on, and then he says, I will give you a hug for your troubles. But instead of a hug, it was like...
There. He gave you a pat.
Cooper's famous for this. Like, if he'll, like, the lean in.
The head bump.
Autism move. It's like this like lean in shoulder thing.
Mm-hmm. The head bump. What if you
Carrie frozen? Carrie frozen, or has she not moved?
She's tired. No,
Frozen. I can't tell. Carrie, can you see us? That is I thought she was just tired.
Carrie, if you can hear us, I want to know what would Jack have said if Carrie had said when he said, I'm wondering who the boy is on the cover, if she had said, it's you.
I thought that's what I thought he was gonna say, is it me?
Right.
That's what I thought was, so first I thought he was gonna super insult it, and then he did. It was awesome. And then I thought he was gonna be like, is that me?
I was hoping she was gonna tell him it was him and see what he said. Okay, let's go over to your subscriber page.
Okay, everyone, if you want to come chat with us, I put a link there at the bottom. Come join us. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.